Shalom. I'm going to start off by giving honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who do rule well, teach His truth in all honesty and sincerity. And salutations to you brothers around the four corners of the earth that push this truth in all honesty and sincerity. Great diligence as well to wake up the hopeful elect, risking your lives and freedom to do so. Wanted to get into a quick lesson on Israel's low estate, because when you read the scriptures and go back into the history, secular and biblical, you find that the Lord's people, it has been a roller coaster ride of, rulerships and captivities. And these other nations, they have basically, how would I say, they've had much happiness and delight in our low estates, in our captivities, in our in our separation from our power, and the only thing that's different about this captivity in Babylon the Great, America, is that we forgotten who we were. We were only showed our slave history. We were never shown our history with us being in rulership in Europe and in certain parts of Africa, around the world. We've only been shown our lowest estate that we've been in. But no one has ever came and spoke up on behalf of Israel's treatment by the other nations. You had in this day and age, you had the ruler of the Philippines, speak up against, when Barack Hussein was in office, about the treatment, why so many so-called black men being killed on his watch, because to the world he's a so-called black president, but he has no power. And even furthermore, he was a Hamite. He's not from our lineage. We are a Shemitic people, and Barack is a Hamitic person. So there is no being friends with that anyway. He doesn't have our nation's best interests at heart. But without any further ado, I'm gonna get into some scriptures. This is Psalms, chapter 136. Thank you. This is Psalms 136, and starting at verse 21. Starting at verse 20. And Og, the king of Bashan, for his mercy endured forever, and gave their land for an heritage, for his mercy endured forever. Verse 22. Even an heritage unto Israel, his servant, for his mercy endured forever. Verse 23, this is the point. Who remembered us in our low estate, for his mercy endureth forever, and hath redeemed us from our enemies, for his mercy endureth forever. Who giveth food to all flesh, for his mercy endureth forever. But that verse 23, who remembered us in our low estate? No one but Yahweh, man. You know, these other nations never campaigned for the wrongful treatment of the Israelites, for the captivity of the Israelites, for the slaying of the Israelites. They had much glory in us being in the lower state. Um, Going over to the Psalms 137, and I'll read just a few passages, because everyone knows this. We're our people are famous for these Negro spirituals, but there's still perpetrators out here claiming to be us when they're not, because this never happened to them. And it reads, this is Psalms chapter 137. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down, yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. Therefore they that carried us away captive required of us a song. And they that wasted us required of us mirth, like happiness, like joyfulness, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. Verse 4, how shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth, if I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. And in that chapter, it was David talking about remembering Jerusalem, and that's how our people were, man. They knew that Jerusalem was the place to be, man. And as they said, verse 4, how shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? Because Israel is our homeland. It's the Holy Land where the holy people dwelled. But I just read that to, for anyone new maybe watching, this passage is a big part of our history and heritage, because Israel is known for is singing those songs of Zion, which they call them Negro spirituals, and these things happen to us. No other people did this happen to. But I'm gonna jump to the book of Acts. Getting a little off topic. But the point is, when all this was happening to us, no one was, crying out of wrongdoing, and Salakia. Mainly because the Lord put the power in these sleazy E's hands to do this to us, you know, for our disobedience. This is the book of Acts, chapter 7, verse 6. And Yahweh spake on this wise, that his seed should sojourn in a strange land, and that they should bring them into bondage, and entreat them evil 400 years. Now this was talking about Abraham, because in Genesis, the Lord told Abraham that his seed was going to be captive for 400 years. And that was the Egyptian captivity. And it's just been an ongoing roller coaster ride with Israel. Captivity, rulership, captivity, rulership. But this is the last captivity, and the Lord is going to come and deliver us personally. So it's not. It behooves us as the nation of Israel not to try to be carnal and take anything into our own hands, because this is the Most High script, and He is going to be the Savior. He is going to save the day. But the point of bringing this Acts the 7th chapter out was because all this was prophesied. So we have to take the good with the bad, and we had to understand the bad aspect, the low estate of life, to appreciate the kingdom that we as Israelites will soon inherit. And that's another reason why these sleazy E's are mad, because they know, man, that their time is up. Their time is up, and they can't do anything about it. Their numbers, everything. When you look at them as a people, everything is working against them. Time itself, nature, their silly ideologies of putting the career first, and then we'll have children and this and that, and their numbers are dropping every day. And they look at Israelites and make it seem as it's such a catastrophe that we multiply, man. Same thing in Egypt when we went into captivity. Went in 70 souls and left out 70,000. Like the Lord told Abraham, He was going to make his seed above the sands of the sea, an innumerable number. So what has to happen? Babies have to be born. But in this society, you're demonized for that. But however, this has to play on. But getting back to the topic, no one has cried out as if against the injustices against us. At the same time, um, they take crafty counsel and put themselves in groups and cliques or whatever to keep us down, keep us from knowing certain information. Now, oh, Salakia. Uh, this is Psalms chapter 83, because this same thing is going on today with the United Nations. The Israelites don't have a spokesperson or a ambassador to sit in those meetings to speak on behalf of the nation of Israel, and this is why. This is Psalms 83. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemy make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. These E's have gotten really proud, and now they have DJT in office, and he's boosting up that pride even more. Verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. We weren't calling ourselves Israel and Israelites uh, 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 in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, all the way up until now. And a famous scene in that from the movie Roots was when the slave master was beating guy from the Reading Rainbow, LeVar Burton. His name was Kunta Kinte in that movie, and they changed his name to Toby. That was a part of cutting Israel off from being a nation. To be a nation, you have to have the land, the a military, a language, and we had none of those things. They cut that off through the generations to to make try to make the perfect slave. Verse 5, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Now, these are the nations. The tabernacles of Edom, which is the so-called white man, the Ishmaelites, which are you Arabs that come over here and set up shop in our neighborhoods, getting rich off of our need and want, but which is prophesied, which you're going to be repaid anyway. So, laugh and chuckle it up now and call us the names that you want, you know, because it ain't going to last long. Moab, which are you Chinese that come over and sell rats and cats to our people. And the Hagarenes, Gabal and Ammon, you Japanese, and Amalek, the the untouchable Shemitic people, Semitic people. That's what I'm gonna say, so they don't take this video down. The Philistines, you dirty ass Hamites, the Africans, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot, Salah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jaban at the brook of Kizon, which perished at Endor. They became as the dung of the earth. And these is all the nations that come against us still to this day. Still to this day, man. It's the same thing. That's what the UN is, the United Nations. They're united again together to keep us down, but they still have bickers and beefs in between each other because they're all different nations, man. And nations weren't meant to mix and mingle. That's why the Lord gave every nation their own land and their own resources and what have you. But it's the same thing. Not one of these people are speaking up to say anything. No one has ever said anything about the our wrongful treatment here. And if they do, what happens? They're no longer alive to talk about it. They no longer will have a platform. Even if you protest against the treatment of our people, they're going to shut you down. Um, we'll go to real early Psalms in chapter 2, because this is what's going to happen to Israel. Yes, we on the bottom, but it's not going to be that way forever. And in fact, all signs are showing these prophecies going forth and coming to life that it's not going to be that much further, that much longer. I'm start at verse 7. This is Psalms chapter 2 and verse 7. I will declare the decree the Lord hath said unto me, Thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee. begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, thou shalt dash them into pieces like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. The Israelites are the rightful judges of the earth, man. The rightful kings of the earth. Why do you think these other nations are mad at Jake, man? Especially, the so-called Negro man. They woman look at us, man, in a different way. But a lot of these nations women look at us, man, because they know the authority that comes with who we are. you know, if it wasn't illegal and if they wasn't fearful of being killed for, loving on the Jake, that's where they would be at, man. And it's gonna be that way, in the kingdom. We leaving you other nations with nothing but the dang gone butt uglies. The man. But I'm gonna jump to Obadiah. The first chapter. These are scriptures you're never gonna hear in any church. They're not gonna read these. It's too much judgment. It's too much destruction. It's too much prophecy of what's gonna happen to these oppressors, man. This is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 17. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance. You hear that? Mount Zion. shall be deliverance. That means to Israel. And there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. And all the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame. So that means the northern and the southern kingdom of Israel, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. Time is running out, Sleazy E. And all that are joined unto you. These celebrities, these sellouts, these agents, trying to infiltrate the camps, trying to, hey, you can't do nothing for the truth, against the truth, but for the truth. So whatever you try, man, it's not, it's all a part of the Most High's plan anyway, and you still is going to lose. So with that, I hope this was an edifying lesson. I'd like to say Shalom and the Baba Ball, Kwam Yasharala. We almost home, man.